Yes.
At 5 o'clock, I'll call the City of Cumming, November 19th, 2024 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to order. Do I have on the adoption of the agenda, before we adopt the agenda, I have one change. We're going to flop 4 and 5. We're going to hear new business first and old business second. So we're going to swap those two. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Make a motion, we adopt the agenda.
Second. Carried unanimously. Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the October 15th, 2024 minutes?
Motion we approve the minutes?
Second.
Motion second, everybody vote. Carries. Thank you. All right, so we're jumping down to new business. A, City of Cumming variance number 2024240. Do I have a motion to open public hearing?
Make a motion, we open public hearing.
Second.
Motion second, everybody vote. Public hearing open. Scott, this is a city-on-city thing, so
Yes, sir.
you want to tell us what's going on?
Yes, sir. Let me tell you what's happening here. The city's made application on property it owns for variance to the required building setbacks and landscape buffers adjacent to residential zoning. Subject property is located at 402 Kelly Mill Roads, zoned restricted industrial M1. And due to the unusual shape of the property, in order to locate a small industrial building, requires a 30-foot reduction of the building setback and a 40-foot reduction of the landscape buffer. The setback reduction will not negatively impact the adjacent properties. When developed, landscape plantings will be installed in order to adequately buffer the building from the adjacent properties. I'll try to answer any questions, but that is the request from the city on city-owned property.
Any questions of the board on that? No. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak in regards to this? Okay, do I have a motion to close public hearing?
Move we close.
Second.
Motion closed, public hearing closed. Okay, I'll make a motion, we send City of Cumming the variance number 20.
No, sir, I'm sorry, excuse me, y'all make the final decision on this as a variance.
Okay, it's just a variance?
Yeah.
All right, so it is a variance. Okay, then I'll make a motion that we permit the variance for number 2024240 with a couple of conditions added to it, that the Landscape Review Committee will approve the site plan, landscape plan, and architectural plan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second, everybody vote. Carries, that one's passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item. Cameron LR Development LLC rezoning number 2024241. To have a motion to open public hearing.
Motion, we open.
Second.
Second, everybody vote. Public hearing now open. Tell us what we got going on.
Mr. Chairman, while we're sitting here, my computer decided to go to sleep. But I will go ahead. I know that you all have looked at, or we had a hearing last month regarding another portion of this property. And so, whoops. This is actually the R3 provision. Forgive me, Mr. Chairman. Bear with me 1 second.
Did you decide that?
You lost it?
Honestly, I saved the file in the wrong name. If you'll give me 2 seconds here, forgive me. I know I'm breaking up the cadence of the meeting.
You got 10 minutes.
The clock's running.
Well, forgive me, Mr. Chairman. My computer's not syncing. However, I can wing this one. So this was the presentation we gave for the R3 portion of the property. We are here now. If you look at this map, the red line that's shown on the map, we're proposing two concurrent zonings, which you're considering. The northern portion is the M1 tract that we are asking that you consider. And then also you'll be making a decision on an R3 tract. This was obviously for the R3 provision, but you can see what we're proposing is a 250,000 square foot industrial building. There is a potential tenant who is very interested in this. Particularly, they are a woodworking producer of milled goods. They are very, very interested in locating into the city of Cumming, and they would be the sole tenant on this larger tract that you can see that it's outlined in purple. Let's see here. There we go. This shows a joint landscaping plan. So you have landscaping, obviously, that would be running through the portion of the residential tract, but also there would be landscaping along that same shared entry drive that goes for the folks that are going to be would be working here at this facility. What we understood was very important to the city was that we don't do a switcheroo on this and show you a bunch of two uses. You all get nothing but residential and you never get the commercial aspect of it. So importantly, what we proposed in both applications is the condition that you can see is condition number 18. And we stand before you and making a record that we acknowledge that we would be intertwining these two applications. And it says the application, the property owners acknowledge that the approval of ZA 194 and ZA 241 are inextricably linked. What this says is we would not get a certificate of occupancy for any of the residential units until a CO is issued for the industrial, the R3 per tract. Staff actually asked us to strengthen that, and they said, not only do we want that condition, we want you to add a condition that states that you would not get a land disturbance permit for the residential unless you also got a concurrent land disturbance permit for the M1 tract. So our client is agreeable with that provision. I apologize, I didn't have the exact conditions. I know staff's got some conditions they're going to be putting forward. While I do have this presentation up, I will say that since we last met, our client has agreed to reduce the density down to 186 units from 191. But the reason we're presenting them to you together is because the developer actually needs to work both deals to allocate its grading cost. This is a rough piece of property. There's going to be a lot of cut and fill from the site. And so the prices for the development and for actually the land acquisition are intertwined. So that's why the developer's comfortable linking both. Again, we are committing to you that this would not be a bait and switch for residential and you don't get the commercial. Staff has put those conditions that says both the LDP and the COs cannot be issued on the residential until they are concurrently issued for the industrial. This is a existing business. We can't tell you who they are because they've got a landlord and they don't want to make their landlord mad. But it is something we're excited to be bringing to the city of Cumming. I think you'll be pleased with the jobs it creates, especially in this industrial corridor. So with that, we would be happy to answer any questions you have, and we'll reserve any time we have remaining. Thank you.
Any questions?
I have one question, Chairman. You mentioned, Ethan, in your presentation, you said 250,000 square foot facility. Is it 250 or 200?
It's 200, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Thank you for the correction, Scott.
Okay. Have anyone else who'd like to speak for, against, any kind of public comments on this? No questions from the board to have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close the hearing.
Second.
Don't say that by vote. Hearing now closed. I'll make a recommendation to send 2024241 forward to the council for approval with the attached condition. Well, Scott, I didn't let you read you.
Well, that's fine. I mean, I'll
Forward.
be happy to read staff.
Go ahead, staff for it. I'm sorry, I jumped you.
Sorry.
Excuse me.
The agent has made application to the proper authorities to rezone 23.77 acres, more or less, from highway business to restricted industrial, to construct a 200,000 square foot light manufacturing contractors establishment, including cabinet shops. The application includes 14 zoning conditions. The tract is zoned HB and its future land use designation is commercial. Therefore, this rezoning request conforms with the city's comprehensive plan. For the above, excuse me, for the above mentioned reasons, staff recommends approval of the rezoning request as presented. And I'll try to answer any questions you might have before you act on it.
Any questions? And now, I'll jump ahead a little bit a minute ago. I'll make a recommendation, we send 20242414 forward to the council for approval with the attached conditions. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second, everybody vote. Passes, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll jump back up to A, Cameron Development LL rezoning number 2024194. All right, this is the R3 portion of the one, same piece that we just did. It's a separate zoning. We've already had a public hearing.
Yes.
There's some conditions attached, and the main one, I mean, there's a lot of conditions. There's 19, but condition number 17 and 19 provide that this residential zone is null and void, basically, if you don't get the, if you don't, in other words, industrial's got to come first, commercial's got to come, the job's got to come before the houses, which is opposite what we normally do. So, Scott, or did the board have any questions on that for anybody?
No, sir.
Scott, you want to read your staff report on it?
Yes, sir. The agent has made application on behalf of the property owner to rezone 31.90 acres, more or less, from highway business to multiple family residential to construct a residential townhome development. The application includes variances, requests to city stream buffers and building setbacks, as well as 19 zoning conditions. The tract is zoned HB and its future land use designation is commercial. Therefore, this rezoning request does not conform to the city's comprehensive plan. For that reason, staff recommends denial of the rezoning request as presented. I'll try to answer any questions.
Okay, thanks, Scott. All right, any questions from the board for Scott? All right, I'll make a motion, we send 20241944 forward to the council for approval with the conditions, especially the ones that link it to the jobs. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second, vote. Carries unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's jump down to the next one. B, E15 LLC, annexation number 2024212. Had a public hearing on this on 10/15 last month, and we shelved it, waiting on the county because this is annexation, and they have sent a letter that they do not object. So, and the conditions we went over last are the same. Did we add any different conditions, Scott?
We have not.
Okay,
Still the same 13 conditions,
all right. Any
including
discussion from
the
the board?
one where one of these parcels was approved by the county for a storage facility, and Ethan's included in there all of the
Yeah, if
conditions
it becomes
that
storage,
they
it's-
put with that,
Has to be with it, okay.
and that they'd be willing to go along with those.
Any
So-
discussion from the board? Scott, you have a staff report on this?
Yes, sir. The applicant on behalf of the property owners filed a petition to annex 18.292 acres, more or less, and rezone from county commercial business district to city highway business. Subject properties are located along Marketplace Boulevard and have continuity with city boundary across Baldridge Marina Road. 3 of the 4 subject parcels are vacant. 1 contains an office building. Adjacent city property is zoned multiple use, and future land use designation is commercial. Therefore, this proposed HB zoning of the properties is in conformance with the city's comprehensive plan. Forsyth County, as you mentioned, has stated they have no objection to the proposed annexation. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the annexation and rezoning as requested, including the 13 conditions as submitted. Try to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Board got any questions?
Nope.
Ethan, just make sure y'all's clients understand this one. We've got a bunch of blanket conditions, but basically, since we're just annexing this and we don't know exactly that it has to come back before for site plan and architect, all the details still have to come back before the council.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. I'll make a motion. We send annexation number 2024212 forward to the council for approval with the attached conditions. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second, by vote. Motion carries. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Any announcements?
No, sir.
I have a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Motion second by vote. Meeting adjourned. Thank y'all.
Thank you.